guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. So the Supreme Court came out today and basically said, hey, Trump and January 6th, all that stuff about the elections, he was doing what was constitutionally his right by looking into what happened with the elections, and he's fine, and you can't really prosecute him for what he did in federal court. And the reason why they're saying this is because obviously the federal government is now going after Trump. They're trying everything they can desperately to throw him in jail. Interestingly enough, though, the Supreme Court didn't say he's completely immune from everything. What they're saying is he has to be found that he was acting outside of the Constitution. And the way that happens is, wait for it, an impeachment. But they tried that twice, and it failed. And so that's basically they're saying you can elect him or not elect him, and you can impeach him or not impeach him. Those are the two ways that presidents can be held accountable for their actions. Well, the media doesn't obviously the media and lefties don't like this results, because now it means that Trump once again escapes their insane ways to try to falsely imprison him. And I've seen the clips on CNN, MSNBC. I tried to pull up the clips, and they keep disappearing as fast as they were appearing. And I did some digging out, and I figured out what's going on. So people were posting video clips of CNN, MSNBC saying, well, now that the Supreme Court has judged this, what's keeping President Biden from saying, hey, Trump is an enemy of the state, and let's get SEAL Team 6 to go after him. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like an awful lot like the media saying, hey, let's just go ahead and do this. And, Biden's old, and who cares if he goes down with a ship? At least we got rid of Trump. There's a whole lot of that going on today. And people that were posting this video clip online, on Twitter specifically, on X specifically, what's happening is leftoids will brigade that account. They'll all agree. I don't know if it's over on 4chan or where they're agreeing to this stuff, but they all decide, hey, let's flag this account, the person that posted this, as misinformation or doxing or doing something improper, and all of a sudden the account gets shut down. Now, in a day or two after looking into it, a human review will look into it and say, no, this isn't doxing. This is fine. And then they turn the account back on, and the post can be seen again. But by then it's 2 or 3 days old, and it's not being recommended in your feed anymore on Twitter. And so in essence, it's wishing the post into the cornfield, and then nobody knows it actually happened. There's a whole lot to go over on this stuff. So this is from Newsmax. And this is what Chief Justice John Roberts on the Trump immunity decision. This is a very good summary of basically what the Supreme Court came up with today. He said the president enjoys no immunity for his unofficial acts, and not everything the president does is official. The president is not above the law, but Congress may not criminalize the president's conduct in carrying out the responsibilities of the executive branch under the Constitution. And there's the key line, under the Constitution. So if the president does something under the Constitution, you cannot hold him liable. If he does something that is not under the Constitution, he can be found guilty via impeachment. And then after the impeachment, when he's been found guilty by the House and the Senate, then you can look at actually going after him legally and having the Department of Justice or whoever go after him. It takes a couple of brain cells to rub together to understand what the Supreme Court's saying, and a lot of people really don't want to rub those brain cells together. So let's look at some of the reactions of everybody. Here's the statement from the Biden-Harris campaign statement on the SCOTUS immunity ruling. They say today's ruling doesn't change the facts, so let's be very clear about what happened on January 6th. If they say, let's be very clear about what happened, that means they're going to lie. Donald Trump snapped after he lost the 2020 election and encouraged a mob to overthrow the results of a free and fair election. Okay, he didn't encourage the mob. He said, let's march peacefully and patriotically and go show our support. That's what he said. And as a matter of fact, when people were breaking into the building, he was still giving his speech.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Today we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity.
Afterwards, he tweeted, please everybody go home, stay peaceful. We support our police. He tweeted that, and that tweet was taken down by Twitter because that was before Elon had it. And then he came out and he did a video speech on Facebook and Twitter saying, we need to go home. It's over. Those posts were taken down by Twitter and Facebook. Isn't that interesting? So there's the first lie of the statement. They say Trump is already running for president as a convicted felon for the very same reason he sat idly by while the mob violently attacked the Capitol. He thinks he's above the law and is willing to do anything to gain and hold onto power for himself. If he was really willing to do anything, he'd still be in power. He wouldn't have left. But he did step down. He bitched the whole way about it, and he said it was unfair, but he did step down. And you notice they're calling him a convicted felon here. That's the whole reason they keep going after him, so they can label him as a convicted felon. They needed those buzzwords. That's the whole reason why they keep bringing this political, litigation against him. They say since January 6th, Trump has only grown more unhinged. He's promising to be a dictator on day one, calling for a constitution to be terminated so he can regain power, and promising a bloodbath if he loses. All right, let's break that down. He's promising to be dictator on day one. Actually, he said, I'm going to be dictator for a day, right on day one. I'm going to shut down the border, and I'm going to open it up so we can drill, baby, drill, and get... See, they don't mention that. He didn't call for the Constitution to be terminated. He didn't say that.
I'm going to be, he keeps, we love this guy. He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one. We're closing the border, and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator,
so that sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president.
That's exactly.
And as far as promising a bloodbath, if he does, no, he said there's going to be a bloodbath if he doesn't get elected, and he was talking about the car industry.
If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. No, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole... That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories.
See, they lie about everything. And guys, you can look... Now, you can't look on leftist websites because they leave a lot of this stuff out of context. But if you go look up any of this stuff and you actually dig long enough, you'll find the truth. So far, everything that's been in their statement is a lie. They said the American people already rejected Donald Trump's self-obsessed quest for power once. Did they, though? There's a lot of people that question that. They say Joe Biden will make sure they reject it for good in November. Well, that was kind of an unhinged rant by the... Let's look at some of how the lefties on Twitter are responding. Now, always watch what they tell you what kind of people they are. They tell you right to your face what kind of people they are. Biden should have Trump. This is from a real Jack Eason on Twitter. Biden should have Trump killed and see what happens next. It might set dangerous precedents or whatever, but since conservatives have had to scramble to assert the president as king, legally he's in the clear. He could also bomb SCOTUS. Nothing of value there. So the minute that something comes out that they disagree with, They're just like, okay, kill everybody that disagrees with us. They're telling you right to your face. From Harry Sisson, the young, 19, 20-year-old guy that has been caught being on Biden's payroll for social media. He says, according to the Supreme Court, Biden could now send in a SEAL Team 6 to take them all out. He could send in the military to take out Trump. He has immunity for official acts now. But that's a non-constitutional act, even if it's official. But again, mouth breathing and intelligence don't go hand in hand. Judd Legum, the Supreme Court just ruled that if the president ordered SEAL Team 6 to assassinate his political opponent, he would be immune from criminal prosecution. This isn't a joke. See, they did not read the 140-page, or whatever it was, actual release. What they did is look at the two dissenters, or the three dissenters, and look at their statements that are all emotional and grandstanding and don't have anything to do with the law, and that's what they decide to latch onto. But remember, Trump is so dangerous, he might assassinate his opponents. He might kill his political enemies. That's dangerous. Well, what do you suggest we do? Should we vote, or what do you suggest we do? We fix this. We should kill him first. Oh, that's fucking a great idea. From Stephen King, notable author and alcoholic. In the name of originalism, Trump's Supreme Court has taken a wrecking ball to the Constitution. Somebody says, PJ below, Biden's still in power. Time to test this absolution. And then Vicky says, absolutely. Drone strikes for SCOTUS and Trump. While we're at it, let's take out some of the Congress. Fuck them all. So just fuck anybody that doesn't agree with us because they're fascists. Do you see the irony of that? Kill all of them because they're fascists and they're not doing what we say. Really? From Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, this Supreme Court has become consumed by a corruption crisis beyond its control. Today's ruling represents an assault on American democracy. It is up to Congress to defend our nation from this authoritarian capture. I intend on filing articles of impeachment upon our return. Oh, you mean so they didn't think the same way you do and you disagree, so you want to remove them from power? How authoritarian of you. But she's saying she's going to save our country from the she's going to save it from the authoritarians. So people vote for Trump. Well, we need to remove him from power because he's authoritarian. Yeah, but the people voted for him. Yeah, but we can't trust the people. We know what's best. Okay, who's the fascist? Who's the authoritarians? Shut the fuck up. From Aaron Rupar, so if Joe Biden declared today that November's election is canceled and ordered the military to keep him in power, would that be an official act? Someone else, I strongly encourage Joe Biden to take advantage of his absolute immunity. They didn't say absolute immunity. See how they changed the words. You can't just say fuck it then. But notice, when the Supreme Court says one thing that they disagree with, they say we shouldn't even listen. We shouldn't even listen to the Supreme Court. Like, why should we even listen to them, like Joe Biden, for giving all these school loans? Even though the Supreme Court said you can't do it, Joe Biden just went ahead and did it. But then when the Supreme Court says, well, you actually have to, it has to be constitutional, they say, oh, well, let's just kill everybody then because he has absolute immunity. That's not what they fucking said, and they know it. They say, which has been lawfully granted by Trump's Supreme Court justices to do whatever official acts he needs to do in order to prevent Donald Trump from becoming president. Oh, so if Biden is given that power, he should kill Trump to keep him out of power? Definitely. The Supreme Court said it's okay. All right, so then you're actually okay with what the Supreme Court came out with so long as Biden can use it but not Trump? They just do not think about this stuff, man. From somebody else, the Supreme Court just gave Biden unequivocal immunity to order the military to take action against Donald Trump today. right now. From Max Kennerly. In full compliance with the Supreme Court's ruling, opinion from The Atlantic. To serve his country, President Biden should drone strike Donald Trump. These people are so stupid. And of course, you can't do cringe takes on Twitter without talking about Keith Olbermann. Well, thanks to the Supreme Court, now King Biden can officially declare Trump a terrorist and officially imprison him officially without trial and without consequence. Can also officially arrest selected Supreme Court justices. That's not what the Constitution says. That's not how the Constitution... Oh, but they said so. I'll leave it with this video from the wokies. Understand, they are wicked afraid of Trump having any type of power. But when they use the power they're already given in the same, if not a worse manner, it's perfectly okay. This doesn't just go away overnight. This is going to get much worse. It's going to get much worse because think about it. They keep saying if Trump's president, he's going to throw his political adversaries in jail and he's going to do all these horrible things. Yeah, okay, but there's four different cases in 4 different states, one by the federal government, trying to throw Trump in jail right now. Yeah, but that's because he's a criminal. Yeah, okay, but do you not see how maybe he's not a criminal and it could be just the Democrats going after him? No, he's totally guilty. All right, well, Biden's done similar things. Should we throw him in jail? Oh, that's just propaganda from the right wing, but he's totally innocent. They don't understand that all the weapons that they're using against Trump could be used against the left. And here's the irony of it. If the right does not use the weapons the same way that the left is using them, the right will lose and will become an authoritarian state. If the right uses the weapons against the left the same way the left is against the right, we're going to turn into a banana republic, and eventually one of them will win, and we're going to turn into an authoritarian state. Neither way does this turn out well. Let's listen to Dingbat here on Miss Thing on her genius take.
So the Supreme Court ruled that a president has complete immunity for any act they do in their official capacity as president. And Joe Biden is still president. And the Supreme Court is counting on Joe Biden to continue to be the good man that he is and not abuse what they have just given him. But personally, I think Joe Biden should go full Monty on this. I mean, in his official capacity as president, maybe he could just disband the Supreme Court or unalive Donald Trump. I mean, he'd have complete immunity. He's president, right? That would certainly solve a lot of our problems.
And hey, well, now that Biden's immune, let's take out the Republicans, let's take out the Supreme Court, let's take out Trump, let's take out all our opposition. See, this is what happens when they actually get power. When they get power, they are going to misuse it, and terribly so. And they do it in the justice of making sure the other side that isn't really using the power doesn't ever use it. Dark times are coming, my friends. I am telling you right now, because there is going to be a point in time where we vote, and we vote for this stuff, and eventually, now we can say now, oh, voting doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who gets in, or they're going to rig it. There's just going to be a point probably where it'll be like it is for Russia. Like, okay, everybody's voted, and look at that, 98% for the current president. Well, thanks, everybody. Have a good day. Back to work. They have no idea how they're destroying things. And by saying Congress is this, Republicans are that, the Supreme Court is Donald Trump's Supreme Court, they're instigating everybody to give less trust in the institutions we have, until the point is that nobody will trust the institutions, including the Democrats and the ones in power. And they're the ones that are basically saying don't trust it because they don't trust it. It's in many ways it's the same thing as before the jab came out. Republicans are like, hey, Trump's doing it. We got the jabs coming out. This is great. And then jabs, and then now people like myself were like, I don't care what Trump says. I'm not putting that crap in my veins. And then Biden became president, and my answer was, I'm not putting that crap in my veins. I'm not doing it. It didn't matter to me who was president because I don't trust the government. I don't trust these companies. There was a lot of people on the left, though, that said, I'm not putting Trump's poison in my veins. And then as soon as Biden got elected and he's like, hey, let's get this medicine out there, people are like, if you don't put this in your veins, you're a criminal. Do you not see what's going on? Do you not see? I don't know. Enough ranting for me. It's just another example of the hypocrisy from our government. A little bit on both sides, if we're going to be honest with it, but the left has gone absolutely insane. Well, we'll see what they come up with next, and I'll see you guys in the next one.